Alright. Alright. What I'm trying to tell you, and what I'm working on in my next book. The government did away go. The government, and it's not necessarily the government. I'm not anti-government if the form of government that we've got is based on the U.S. Constitution. Our founding fathers did a hell of a job of crafting it. And all their warnings still ring in my ears. Yeah, we can't, if you ever allow a private bank to issue your money, the banks and the corporations that spring up around it will leave your children homeless in the land that we conquer. Ninth plank in the Communist Manifesto, corporate farms. Communists are the corporations. So the communists are fascists. Fine line of difference. About the same amount of difference as a Republican and a Democrat. Set a Republican and a Democrat in the same room. Can you tell the difference? If they keep their mouth shut, can you tell the difference? Lady was just here typing my novels. She's a liberal. She voted for Obama. She thinks she's great. And, you know, it's really hard to tell. Maybe he is. Maybe Obama's done a good job of waking people up to the evils of being a Muslim, following a different type of law, mistreating women. You got 4 wives, I think you're mistreating the women. Alright, hold on. Gotta do my morning ritual, David. It's recharging my coffee, by the way, for you folks that can't see me doing it. Recharging my coffee. Now, my guest, Gordon Duff, who happens to be Jewish, has been attacked. Now that he's been on my show, and this is what they really don't want, folks. They don't want people listening to my show. They don't want people being on my show. But Abe Foxman is trying to do that. Abe, I call you that because you're like an old friend, perhaps one gone, a bit potty, a bit over the edge, a bit obsessed. So many of us have that crazy ant in the attic. You're mine. This is from Gordon Duff. But other than few minor things, I really like Gordon Duff. I like writing for him. I like listening to him. I like having him on my show. And now that he's been on my show, Abe Foxman is attacking him. They don't want you to see that Jews and Christians, possibly even Muslims, can work together. There is banksters that loan both sides money that create this climate of fear. And these are Zionist fear mongers. That's what the ADL is. And they give every other Jew out there a bad name, because I tell you, Abe Foxman is Jewish, and he's a bad guy, and he's a bad guy. You know, so is Morris D's Southern Poverty Law. I published his divorce papers, child molesting cocksucker. Gordon says, last week you called me a vicious anti-Semite. Last week, John Kaminsky called me a Jewish cockroach. Gaddafi secret police called me a CIA thug. Then later in the week, we learned they themselves have been running a CIA rendition program from Tripoli since 2002. Your supposedly Jewish website spews hate with rare incompetence, making wild and bizarre accusations. White supremacist groups do the same, exactly the same, often threatening my life. At times, I suspect you run and fund both, not without good reason. Do I care? Not hardly. Now, another guest I've had on has again been attacked. The same way I've been attacked, and they've tried to kill me. They've tried to silence me. Donna Taylor's son is still back in after rescuing him, after going through a year's worth of work to rescue him from a clinic in Phoenix. He's back in a clinic in Colorado. So this attack is coming from, and some of it comes from the ADL, some of it comes from Southern Poverty Law, some of it now is coming from Homeland Security. They're trying to demonize the veterans. They're trying to demonize Christian identity. And so here we've got the Jews attacking Gordon Duff and me. White supremacist groups did the same thing after I wrote a book basically supporting their contention that me, and probably Gordon too, you know, were walked across Caucasus Mountains and became called Caucasians. But we came from the Middle East. And they do run both sides, and Gordon's absolutely right on that. He says, I am a simple person, not a master of the universe like you. I don't dictate to members of Congress to strike fear in the hearts of Jews around the world. Is this what you do? Strike fear into the hearts of Jews around the world? Of course it is. In fact, you do little less. You have no greater enemy than a free-thinking human, a disciplining individual capable of rational thought. That is the enemy, and if that individual is a Jew, he's thrice your enemy. There's no greater enemy than a Jew, such as the 500,000 standing against your Zionist, Likud thugs last week. And that was in Israel, folks. Call this conspiracy theory, call this paranoia, or call this something else, enlightened watchfulness. But whenever people stand on their hind legs and rise above those who would have them live in chains, the dogs of war, overtly convenient acts of terrorism descend. Norway, 9/11, rockets from Gaza or Lebanon, we're not all blind. You might want to stop and think. Something I don't see any signs of you doing. In fact, 90% of the people in this world are ready to declare at the United Nations Assembly that Israel is a criminal state, what you call delegitimization. In fact, 500,000 Israeli Jews this week protested against their own country, how it has treated them, the chosen people, as second-class citizens in a land the rest of the world believes tortures only as Palestinians. Picture a Jewish child anywhere in the world every day because of you, Abe Foxman. He or she wakes up expecting their door to be kicked down, expecting to be hauled down the steps and then thrown into the street and thrown into a boxcar and taken to a camp. Every Jewish child everywhere in the world is taught this every day, expects this every day, lives this nightmare every day. They see themselves stripped naked, made to run in a circle, and those not fast enough or not compliant enough are selected for special treatment. Their heads are shaved, their gas, skin for lampshades, human fat for soap. Some say this never happened. Those doing so are imprisoned and castigated by organized gangs or thugs that you control. The real victims here, however, are the children who hear this story every day. They live in fear. They lose the ability to judge right and wrong. They become slavish, compliant, and some capable of inhuman acts of barbarity. Is it just Jews? We know better. We saw it in America after 9/11. Americans were told at any time Muslims, one of many races, white, brown, black, Asians of any background, stood ready to cut their heads off unless we chose to imprison them without reason, torture them for years so we could be safe. The world has become a form of Israel, not the Israel of the Jewish religion, but your Israel, ruled by fear, population under mind control, fear, hate, capable of barbaric acts that so deeply parallel the exact scenarios of the Holocaust in so many ways. From Frank Herbert's Dune, Fear, the Mind Killer. Peddling fear is a business, not just Zionist business, one centuries old. One at the heart of any criminal culture, certainly at the heart of the definition you love so much to peddle is fascism. Blame a minority group, get a population to fear and hate, and they will believe any message you repeat over and over, thrown through control of all mediums of communication. This is the definition you would use for fascism. In fact, it describes you. Is there a Jewish conspiracy? If there weren't one, you could be used as proof one exists. Is that perhaps your purpose? To make the world fear and hate Jews? To foster hatred of Jews? A people you claim to represent? A people you claim to be one of? And this is what I've told you, folks. The Zionists have hidden behind the Jews. They've used them. They've sacrificed them. And they're still doing it. And the whole Judeo-Christian mindset gets you to think that somewhere there's somebody that's a lot better than you, a chosen people. That's the control of the religions, folks, and it ain't real, it ain't right. Is it love, such as the love a parent has for his children? Or is it your love of the Jews, like the love of a hungry man sitting in front of a juicy steak? You made one horrible mistake, Abe Foxman. You have underestimated and misjudged. Yes, you may be able to accuse and besmirch to your heart's content, but you're not loved. Next to Vice President Dick Cheney, you may be the most hated American, the less credible, the least loved, particularly by Jews, such as the 500,000 in Israel, sick of selling their future for a handful of fear. Think of the generations of Jewish children raised to feel hatred, diminished, and lessened. Your story, the endless terror of the Holocaust, your tool of control, has harmed so many Jewish children who live every day thinking, why do they hate us so much? There is no they. You invented it. There is no us. Children are only children, and all decent people should love all children equally, to protect them, to help them grow, feel safe and loved, all decent people, but not you, Abe Foxman. Today is your day to head to the woodshed and get that hiding that the errant deserve. Is there a Jewish conspiracy? Sir, there certainly is a conspiracy. This again was your mistake, as the stupidity of the 9/11 cover-up will never stand. The proof of the conspiracy is too great, fingerprints all over, some of them Jewish, some of them not. What focuses our attention to the Jewish fingerprints on 9/11 is you, Abe Foxman. As with any good detective novel, the guilty party shows himself. This is what you've done with your intimidation, your threats, your endless efforts to stifle those seeking honest answers to very real questions about 9/11. You look guilty. Very, very guilty. You made yourself look guilty because you act guilty. There's evidence against many powerful groups in America that sought war, extremist groups in Europe, similar groups in Israel and everywhere. Nowhere, however, is there a single individual whose poor judgment has screamed out, "Look at me," as loud as you have. We who are people are Jews and Christians. We are Muslims. We come in all ages and races. We judge men by their hearts, not the color of their skin or whether a book somewhere 100 tales. We who study sociology and anthropology know of a mythical being, a war's land and privilege to his people, told in almost every culture of the world. As humanity advanced, we threw aside such childishness for what it is, the fodder of hate, the racism of inhumanity. I suspect you slept through that class. That was my guest, Gordon Duff. That's his writing. And I think he's captured it pretty well. Now see what else we got here. Foxman is the head, Abraham Foxman, the head of the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League. And that could be applied also to Morris Dees of Southern Property Law. These guys have done more to try to destroy people like me, people like who just the man who was just on my show and wrote that great piece. Okay, what is this? Yeah, I don't know what it is. Yes, ADL scum. Yes, you got it. He's the one that's tried to stir this whole thing up. They're the ones that tried to demonize me for starting a militia. They've tried to demonize, and they've closed down, they've used their accusations of being anti-Semitic. Okay, let me see here. Okay, let me check out my other rooms here. Did I hang up? Oh my God, here, let me see here. Well, we definitely got disconnected on one of my calls here. Let me see if I can get back.
Welcome to TalkShoe. Please enter the... Your entry is not valid, or your... Your entry is not valid, or your call is not scheduled at this time. 875900000. Welcome to TalkShoe. Your entry is not valid, or your call is not scheduled at this time. 87590.
Great. Alright, we're back. I'm sorry about that. Lost a couple of things. We'll try to get it again here.
Welcome to TalkShoe. Please enter the call ID followed by... Your entry is not valid, or your call is not scheduled at this time. 8. Welcome to TalkShoe. Please enter the call ID. Your entry is not valid, or your call is not scheduled at this time. 859. Your entry is not valid, or your call is not scheduled at this time. 87590.
Come on, you sucker. Trying to get back on here, folks.
Welcome to TalkShoe. Please enter the call ID followed by the pound key. Your entry is not valid, or your call is not scheduled at this time. 8. Welcome to TalkShoe. Please enter the call ID. Your entry is not valid, or your call... Your entry is not valid, or your call is not scheduled at this time. 87590.
Come on.
Welcome to TalkShoe. Please enter the call ID followed by the pound key. Your entry is not valid, or your call is not scheduled at this time. 8. Welcome to TalkShoe.
I just need to end that recording, so I'm trying to get back up. We're out of time, folks. Thanks for listening. Appreciate you listening. FreeAmerican.com is my answer, is the way to get me right here.
Welcome to TalkShoe. Please enter the call
Since it
ID.
appears you're calling back into a live show,
You may access the call up to 15
Since it
minutes.
appears you're calling back into a live show, we're reconnecting you now.
Welcome to TalkShoe. Please enter the call ID followed by the pound key.
We're out of time, folks.
Your entry is not valid, or your call is not scheduled at this time. 8. Welcome to TalkShoe. Please enter the call ID.
Damn it. To hell with it all. I'm gone. Friday, anyway. Yeah, I think you're right there, Renegade. He could have been the one. He certainly tried for a long time. Alright. See, I believe they're beatable. I believe if the people ever just break free of the mind control and the programming, we can do something. We can change things. And again, I'm going to be working on a story. And I think their plan is to destroy the planet. They want to eliminate most of the population. That's why they've stored up the nuclear weapons. That's why they're saving it up. And they've been trying to set the scenario for it. People backed out. They ran them out of Russia. And we took that back some. And the communist control, they're still there, and they got the power in Russia, and they got the power here, and they definitely got the power in England. That's the city of London. And the Catholic Church is not your friend either, folks. So, I'm out of time here. I'm closing it down. A little exit music here since we got a few more minutes left.
Many years ago, our families came from far away to build a better future and to find a better way. At first it wasn't easy. There were times they had to fight. One by land or two by sea, the legends in the night. They pledged their sacred honor and established liberty, and they wrote the Constitution for their posterity. The tyrants, they were terrorists, and they were called the enemy. But these patriotic rebels pledged their lives so we'd be free. Don't let it slip away. The framers tried to warn us. Forever vigilant is what we have to be. Be on your guard. Protect your Constitution, or your republic will become a tyranny. This country prospered, there were those who couldn't stand to see the common people as the rulers of their land. A small cabal of rich men then meticulously planned, regaining their control with an economic hand. For many generations and through the countless years, their money paid for influence and their tactics played on fears, until each politician, corporate leader, CEO understood they had to play along or say they didn't know. Don't let it slip away.